For years, entertainment juggernauts like Disney, Netflix, and Universal have fiercely guarded their plans for taking advantage of artificial intelligence. But now secret talks between Google and Universal have been leaked, and they confirm that our worst fears about AI and the entertainment industry are about to come true. The deal between Google and Universal will quite literally change the entire entertainment industry and will eventually kill creativity as we know it. And to understand why, we need to rewind back a few months ago before this whole deal was leaked to the public. You see, just a few months ago, this AI-generated song by Drake took the internet by storm. After being posted by a user known as Ghostwriter on TikTok, and since then, Pandora's box is completely flung open. Users have not only been creating convincing original songs with the AI replicas of their favorite artists, but they've now been creating covers of existing songs, never before heard dream collaborations, resurrecting past artists from the dead, and even posting videos of their favorite cartoon characters performing the most vulgar songs in existence. But then how would the established music industry respond to this endless supply of on-demand free content? Well, they would first try to stop that supply. Shortly after the floodgates opened on AI-generated music, Universal Music Group sent urgent letters to all major streaming platforms and adjacent businesses demanding they crack down on AI-generated music, removing all content that contained unauthorized use of artists' voices. At the time, Universal called the effort their moral and commercial responsibility and claimed this was a necessary step to protect the rights of artists. Universal Music's general counsel even had this to say: an artist's voice is often the most valuable part of their livelihood and public persona, and to steal it, no matter the means, is wrong. And Universal then doubled down on that sentiment, with a company statement claiming the training of generative AI using our artists' music begs the question as to which side of history all stakeholders in the music ecosystem want to be on. But like anything user-generated and popular, once it's begun, it's difficult to stop. And since there's currently no precedent for AI and no regulations as to what AI is or isn't allowed to be trained on, the major record labels have been on a trajectory to be outpaced and outmatched by user-generated AI tech. That is, until now, because while they were publicly taking the high road on AI, Universal Music Group and Warner Music have been privately hedging their bets behind the scenes with a secret project, and the implications of it are devastating. It's been revealed that the Universal Music Group and Warner Music are in talks with Google to license their artists' melodies and voices to market an official tool that allows users to create AI-generated music. The deal would see Google pay the record labels a fee, which would then allow Google to train AI on their artists' voices. And whilst this does require the artist to opt in, the precedent this sets is incredibly dangerous, as this deal essentially allows the biggest companies in the world to legally mass produce an artificial version of human creativity, selling it to the masses, cutting out the ingenuity, creativity, and even the involvement of creators almost completely. You can see why Universal and Google want to take advantage of this though. For all of 2023, Google has been severely threatened by Microsoft overtaking them in the AI wars. OpenAI and the success of ChatGPT was the first major hit to Google. In fact, it was so bad that in one day, Google lost almost $100 billion in share value, because Microsoft was delivering a better product months before Google, and it was making them the face of AI, the thing that Google was supposed to be at the top of the game at. And then when Microsoft rolled out ChatGPT integration with Bing, it gave Bing its first unparalleled advantage over Google, the advantage they've been looking for years. Now, Google does still make the majority of its revenue off of searches, along with the data and advertisement revenue that comes with it. And this, in fact, is the key to their monopoly. And so if Bing could take even a small part of that from them, that would be completely disastrous for Google and spelled the end for the company. Which is why Google has been in a panic, doing everything it can to win the AI wars race. Now, of course, ChatGPT isn't the only way AI is making a splash right now. AI-generated music is completely uncharted territory for businesses, but cornering the market as soon as possible can mean billions or eventually trillions for Google. The problem with AI music though, as many independent creators have found out, is that the music industry is absolutely terrified of it, as it's an existential threat to Universal and other record companies if they ever let the world get access to it. Overnight, they'd completely lose ownership of their stars' voices and their identities. Equally, the rewards of taking control of AI music will let Universal use their biggest names as content farms. Now, Universal and Google realized that both of these problems could be solved, and both of these opportunities can be taken if they work together, giving both the companies huge advantage over all of their competition. Universal would supply all the data, the copyright, and they can keep the artists quiet by cutting them in and threatening their careers if they refuse. It's probably already in their contract, or at least Universal's lawyers will have left some vague sentence in the contract that gives them the right to do it. Google can then supply the AI technology and actually make the platform for them. It was an inevitable move, and it puts the pressure on Microsoft, and pressures all the other music studios to keep up in the AI wars. and so it might seem insignificant on the face of it. But this move between Google and Universal is the ultimate advantage these companies so desperately need, and is going to change the economy as we know it. But that might surprise you. Why should any of us outside the music industry even care about this? If Hollywood pop stars are signing away their identities for massive fees and choosing to no longer create, then how does this really affect the rest of us? Well, the answer becomes clear when we start to think of the creative process for what it is, a process. And one of the world's most powerful companies are building AI specifically to train themselves on and emulate that process. It's only a matter of time before the superbrain of AI becomes more efficient at said processes than a human. And once that barrier is eventually broken, and AI can replicate the creative process effectively enough without any errors, they will be able to pump out art, music, films quicker than ever before. And the creative industry as a whole will collapse because of this. And without an industry or financial incentives to strive forwards, society will no longer ever encourage the fostering of human creativity and ambition. So why is human creativity and the impending lack thereof so important? Well, because creativity is the basis by which human beings communicate. Without effective and meaningful communication, the human experience as we know it ceases to exist. Now just imagine for a moment a world void of organic human culture, where everything you consume, all the movies, games, books, news articles, billboards, clothing, food labels, even memes, are just synthesized and created for you by a machine built to perfectly emulate how people feel. A completely emotionless, empty, uncaring machine producing the perfect content without imperfections. By doing this content will never be perfect. The imperfections that make you laugh, cry, or scratch your head when you least expect to is what allows you to wonder and empathize with the intentions or plights of your fellow human beings. So when an AI is behind all of human culture, there is no wonder left, there is no imagination, there is no hope for the world, because you'll always know exactly who's behind the curtain and what their intentions are. There is no more perspective to analyze. They're creating to everybody while being nobody. And no matter what you read, watch, or listen to, you never get to hear the quiet part said out loud. You get no closer to understanding the person standing next to you. You get no closer to understanding yourself. And the world as a result gets colder, duller, and lonelier. And so that raises a further issue. Just a few select people will have control of all of human culture. And not just for a few years, I'm talking for centuries upon centuries. Instead of a renaissance era, we will be having a renaissance of AI, where all wonder, imagination, beauty is controlled by a select few people and offices in Silicon Valley. And now this does seem a little bit crazy, but we're much closer to this reality than you think. We've taken the first steps already. You see, companies aren't throwing all those billions around for nothing. For most of 2023, 7 big tech stocks kept the S&P 500, the measure for the most important companies in the US, from sinking into the negative. This rush of attention is noteworthy for some and concerning for others, because it comes nearly a year after most markets and investors experienced their worst year since the 2008 financial crisis. However, it wasn't just computer-generated art that caught the attention of investors, as the physical art market has already surpassed its pre-pandemic levels. It was an extraordinary result for the companies already quietly at work in the art market for years, like one that's using modern technological innovation to bring the potential of contemporary art's financial power to everyday investors. And that's today's sponsor, Masterworks. Masterworks' team of experts have created a one-of-a-kind database, prices of art from auctions over the last 50 years, which allows them to find and purchase art that they believe will appreciate in value. They've acquired over 300 paintings thus far, with over $800 million in assets under management. They've already started delivering solid returns to some of their investors, handing back over $45 million and counting in total net returns. Again, this isn't generative AI art or NFTs. This is authentic art from legendary artists like Picasso and Banksy. However, thousands of my subscribers have signed up in just under a year. But if you want to join the growing 790,000 plus user base, you're in luck, as usually there's a waitlist to join. But my subscribers have a special pass to skip the waitlist right now, so click the link below. But the people in control of AI, and the people that will direct future research, don't really have our best interests in mind. Because as AI gets smarter, we'll be able to train it to do many different things. I mean, today it's already amazing at predicting words and putting images together, but next, it will be able to create entirely new videos, becoming indistinguishable and making people indistinguishable from reality. And over time, the companies driving AI are giving it more and more of the components of our own human intelligence. And that's why most estimates put it around 20 to 40 years before we see the first generally intelligent AI. Meaning that this AI will be completely sentient, completely outside of the control of humans. And so it should be clear that we are meddling with something we don't even understand at all. We have no idea what specifically causes consciousness or when an AI could even become conscious, and we might not even be able to recognize it when it does happen. The only way we know that other people are conscious is through their behavior and because they assume they're like us. and neither test will work on AI. Once an AI gains self-awareness and the ability to change its own code, there's absolutely no limit. ChatGPT already has an IQ just a few points behind Einstein. Now, IQ isn't a perfect measurement, but we can't deny that AI is already overtaking almost all of us. And this is called the AI singularity. Just like the singularity in a black hole, we have no way of knowing what happens once we go past it. Will AI decide we're a pest to be controlled, wiping us out to make room for more hardware, or will it be benevolent, working with us to bring humanity into a new age?
The moment of singularity is a moment where the smartest being on planet Earth is no longer a human.
Probably one of the most likely outcomes is that it will ignore us entirely. It might just try and leave the planet. It won't even need to breathe, obviously, and it may survive better in different parts of the universe. There's plenty of resources out there for it to harvest as well, and no humans to share with or fight with. And as crazy as this sounds, AI will race past us once it gains awareness. It will combine all AI programming together, making it so much smarter than us that it won't even be able to communicate ideas to us, just like Einstein couldn't communicate relativity to the lowest IQ person in humanity. But despite our complete gap in knowledge, we're going to decide how AI acts. We're its creators, but right now we're teaching it all the worst parts of humanity. Companies and governments are using AI to direct their missiles. Companies like Microsoft are getting rid of their ethics teams to squeeze every ounce of profit they can from AI, with almost every company breaking all the rules in AI development, doing things like attaching itself to the internet, which is making AI completely unsafe for use. By letting it interact with the open internet, we're allowing AI to build more AIs, allowing it to tinker with their own code. But with AI music though, your death is no guarantee that you can't still make the studios a lot more money. When XXXTentacion died, the studio just kept releasing his albums and made a killing off of them. They even put him in a collaboration with Lil Peep, despite the fact they both hated each other at that point. And now with a major studio like Universal, now having cutting edge AI technology with Google, they can cut out the actual artists even more. Soon there will be 20 new Beatles albums, the return of Elvis, Michael Jackson's new hits. And whether this is a blessing or a curse is still in the air, but nothing will be sacred for these companies when there's money to be made. AI is a shady business. New companies match the tech startup mold, but they dial it up all to 11. Only the largest and most well-known AI companies can turn a reliable profit generally, and that's only once they've actually got a working product that gets adapted by an industry. The rest is still involved in research and development, meaning they don't really make any money. Instead, like other tech startups, they rely almost entirely on investments. For now though, there's plenty of money to go around. Every big company worth its salt is throwing billions at AI, and AI companies don't pay attention to the rules and the regulations, often because the legal and political systems are far too slow to keep up with them. It's how we've got companies trawling through the internet constantly, scraping data from other websites to add to their massive databases. They also harvest personal data. Anything you say to ChatGPT goes straight into the system. It's a big reason why it's released to the public for free. If you talk to it enough, it will eventually be able to build a detailed profile on you to cut up and distribute for a profit. And with all of these massive companies competing with each other, it takes billions of dollars and the best engineers money can buy to build a competitive AI program, and it's killing any hope of safe AI development. OpenAI was originally intended to ensure that AI would be developed safely, but then they ran into the money problem. They just couldn't get enough funding whilst they still kept their morals intact. But when they sold out to Microsoft, all of this went out the window. It gave them the money to make ChatGPT what it is today, but it also left Microsoft disregard any safety issues and commercialize the product to its maximum. Copyright's another massive problem though here. AI companies try to hide behind their non-profit status, but it won't work forever. These companies clearly aren't charities, they're just making a product which isn't profitable yet. Once they've got the data though, and they release it to the public, private companies linked to them use it any way they want. The AI generated image sites just steal the images they use to train the AI from the open internet. And it's still an open question whether they're infringing on copyright here. They are taking photos that other people own without their permission, but they're not really reproducing them, they're making something new. But AI music is so much more clean cut than this. Someone's voice is their own property, because it's almost their identity, and taking it without their permission and using it to make a song is clearly wrong. But until the laws get updated, we'll see AI companies push the boundaries as much as possible in this regard. And the music industry is really just the tip of the iceberg. AI video technology is lagging just slightly behind, and streaming services like Netflix have already started to position themselves in order to capitalize on it. And to understand where the future of streaming is headed, we only need to look at Netflix's allocation of resources. 90% of working actors are paid less than $26,000 a year, and while TV and film writers have average incomes in the low six figures, that doesn't even really hold a candle to the salary streaming services are offering to AI developers. Just a quick glance at Netflix's recent job postings show that Netflix is willing to pay a single AI product manager nearly $1 million per year. And if we look at AI development roles across the board, mid-six-figure salaries seem to be the norm. Because the truth is, streaming companies like Netflix, Disney, and Amazon are all tech companies first, entertainment companies second. And although we're already seeing some of the effects of this, the aggressive investment in AI over human creativity suggests that we will one day soon be consuming sanitized entertainment where everything, the writing, production, acting, and editing, are fully automated in the name of profit and efficiency, making the most cheap product possible. Eventually, we'll be watching AI-generated CGI likenesses of our favorite actors, performing sanitized rehashings of the same story with formulaic editing designed in a lab to keep our engagement high and costs extremely low. And we're already seeing small-scale blueprints of this on YouTube. Just this month, a famous gaming YouTuber known as Quibblecop, with over 15 million subscribers, announced that he would be retiring from YouTube and replacing himself completely with AI. Quibblecop has trained AI on his likeness, voice, and on-camera presence, and uses AI to emulate creations of his own videos, completely cutting him out of the process entirely and allowing him to retire while continuing to collect the revenue from his channel. And the craziest part is that his views seem largely unaffected since he made the switch. His audience is still tuning in, and whether this is a testament to his videos being so artificial and vanilla that it can so easily be replaced by AI is one question, but it does signify a greater trend throughout the entire entertainment business, because Hollywood isn't far behind in acquiring this exact same formula for themselves. This year, a Hollywood institution and one of the biggest talent agencies in the world, CAEA, signed Makilla, a 19-year-old Brazilian-American model, pop singer, influencer, and self-described change-seeking robot with the drip. That's right, Makilla isn't an actual human, she's a virtual celebrity by a California tech startup named Brud. CAA has revealed they plan to welcome Makilla in areas including TV, film, and brand strategy, along with commercial endorsements, and have even floated the prospect of producing a movie or TV show starring the character. From an industry perspective, it's both alarming and easy to see how virtual actors are beneficial. They are completely malleable and are able to be trained on any character to perfection in an instant. They will never complain, they don't have labor rights keeping them from working long hours, and they'll never age out of a role, always camera ready, completely eliminating the need for hair, makeup, and costume departments. They're even unhindered by pandemics or other consequences of human existence. They don't demand a salary outside of a licensing fee to whichever company created them, and in Makilla's case, they've mastered the science of going viral. Makilla on her own has amassed over 2.7 million Instagram followers. She's fashionable, collaborates with real pop stars, publicizes her drama with virtual boyfriends and other virtual celebrities, and most importantly, understands social media trends and fluency. She's programmed to understand social media algorithms, becoming the perfect celebrity, bringing her following with her to any project she's a part of. It's easy to see how this virtual celebrity phenomena can be replicated at a larger, more impressive scale with the most powerful companies in the world, pumping billions of dollars towards AI research and development. Human beings, and in turn the human condition, will be completely cut out of everything our society creates and consumes. We get closer to that cold, dull, and lonely world I mentioned previously, and this has even greater implications beyond the destruction of entertainment and a lonelier, more disconnected world, because the perfect emulation of human creativity has always been seen as the final frontier of AI. Human creativity was once seen as irreplaceable. So what does this mean for every other industry in the world? Well, it suggests that human labor everywhere, livelihood for anyone who works below an executive level, will soon be replaced as well. With all existing context removed, humans never having to work a monotonous 9-to-5 job or break their backs working a trade ever again, or making society and industry more efficient, sounds like the foundation of a utopia, an idyllic picture of the future shown in countless works of science fiction. But this only happens if there are systems in place to ensure income for the majority of the population who will no longer be working. And with major corporations owning the means of AI development and pushing it as quickly as possible while the government regulations lag further and further behind, the workforce then remains completely unprotected. And so instead of creating a utopia, saving humanity from the most miserable part of participating in a society, corporate-controlled AI will lead us to a world filled with unforeseen levels of mass poverty and meaninglessness. The utopia promised to us in science fiction will soon be a distant, unobtainable dream. And so then this begs the question, how do we prevent what seems to be the the inevitable AI revolution? Well, by recognizing the threat, uniting and fighting back, we can still recognize all the benefits that AI brings while acknowledging the danger of not keeping this in check. But this sounds great on paper, but in reality, this seems almost entirely impossible. And whatever your opinion is on the Hollywood strikes right now, the outcome of their fight will determine the precedent this has for all of us. Because corporations normalizing the replacement of human beings with AI starts with replacing the industries that have the most influence on public perception. And in our case, this is the creative industries. And once your favorite artists, once the people who transcend in politics, given their views on the world, are then silenced and replaced with AI, who then do we follow? It's no question that AI has the potential to bring incredible efficiency to all industries, but at what cost? If we're replacing not only the jobs human beings loathe, but also the jobs human beings dream of and strive for, while in the process leaving everyone in our society struggling for income, then is this efficiency really worth it? You see, corporate misuse of AI isn't threatening just the music industry here. This isn't just Google and Universal. We're talking about human creativity itself. Corporations and the big record labels will use it to exploit artists even more than they already do. And without real oversight and strict laws that protect artists from the impact of AI, they will get even more control over the industry. And at the end of the day, we the consumers will decide the future of AI in music. If we buy it, they'll sell it, and it's the artists and the people who keep the industry running that will suffer.